of the things that I've done is that I've made an app which shows every pharmacy in Ontario. And you can also find information that Google does not have, such as, for example, pharmacies that speak a certain language, and you can find that on this map. Google does not have that information. So I'm here just to give a demo about how to use this app because it can be quite complicated and I don't provide enough instructions. So this app is available on the Google Play Store and the Apple iOS Store. So once you open the app, which you downloaded from either of their respective stores, you'll see something. You'll see this, and you can move the map around. You can zoom in. You can zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out, and then if you zoom in all the way, you can click one of these red dots. Now you don't have to zoom in all the way. Just clicking one of these red dots at any zoom level will allow you to see this information. So you can see the pharmacy name. This is Jubilee Pharmacy, for example, the workplace group. So grouping those pharmacies into different groups. For example, corporate, independent, or banner pharmacies, or a small chain pharmacy. This is an independent pharmacy. Its location is here with the dispensing fee here, and the phone, the fax if you need to contact the pharmacy. So this shows you all over Ontario, and you could see every pharmacy in Ontario. Additionally, you can also click this button right here. So in the version that I'm demoing, this button doesn't work. But if you download the app from the Google Play Store or from the Apple iOS Store and then click this button right here, then this will allow you to zoom into where you are and show you basically your location on the map. So you're able to find pharmacies that are near you that either speak the language that you desire in order to obtain healthcare or to find vitamin K2 or vitamin D, and you are able to find that information. So let me show you some other options that I have available here. So you can also find a pharmacist that speaks one of 103 languages. So for example, if you're interested in a pharmacist that speaks Chinese Mandarin, for example, then you can find this by first choosing from the drop-down and then clicking the Speaks X language option. And then you can go back to the map, and if you ignore this outlier, then zoom in, you could see the pharmacies that have pharmacists that speak that language weighted by whether those pharmacists are full-time or part-time. So if you're full-time, then you receive 1. If you're part-time, you get 0.5 or less if you work at more stores. So then the FTE sum of that store is just the aggregation of all those numbers. And if you divide the number of pharmacists divided by number of pharmacists that speak that language, divided by the total FTE sum of at that store, then you get the percentage of pharmacists at that store that speak that language, taking into account full-time and part-time status. So for example, if you zoom into this, and this is plotted on a black to red color gradient, so the more red that a dot becomes, the more pharmacists that speak that language that are located at that pharmacy. So for example, if you click this pharmacy right here, you can see this is Cloud Healthcare Pharmacy, and they have 1 pharmacist FTE employed and 1 language FTE employed. So what this means is that there's only 1 full-time pharmacist working there, and that full-time pharmacist actually speaks Mandarin, for example. So, and you can see all over Ontario. So if you zoom out more, you can see that there's another pharmacy in North Bay that also speaks Mandarin. In total, it has 2 pharmacists FTEs employed. So it might be 2 full-time pharmacists, or it might be one full-time pharmacist and 2 part-time pharmacists. I'm unable to tell from the data, but what I can tell is that half the pharmacist FTEs there speak that language. And there's also another one at Thunder Bay. So this is also useful for you if you're going out traveling and you want to find a pharmacy near you at, for example, Huntsville, and you want to find a pharmacy that speaks a certain language, then you're able to find that by using this information. So additionally, I'll show off the other settings. So the circle settings is just the default setting that you have when opening the app. So for the FSA setting, it shows you information for stakeholders or people in government, which might be useful. It might be useful for you as well if you're just interested in seeing what kind of pharmacy density is located in the area. So, for example, you can see that Toronto is more red than up north, which is more yellow, which indicates a higher pharmacy density, which shows that there are more pharmacies located in Toronto, which makes sense because there's a higher population located there, and so you would need more pharmacies in order to serve the population. But if governments want to, for example, see that an area has a low pharmacy density, then more pharmacies could be beneficial in that area in order to increase public health by giving more pharmacies and being able to serve another population which is underserved by pharmacies. So once again, if you click on information, you can see the pharmacies per 10,000 population in that area. So you can see it's like 3.43 here, and you can see the population, how much it covers. So the way that I obtained this information is that I joined it on with data from Canadian census data. And by joining it on by postal code, so by FSA, which is the first three digits of the postal code, I can actually tell you information about how many pharmacies are located in that postal code and the population and how much they give services towards that population. So you can once again move all over Ontario in order to see more information here. So the next setting that I want to show you is the corporate logo setting. And corporate logo setting. And in the corporate logo setting, it shows the same information, but in a more pictorial fashion, such that all the independents have this mortal and pestle. All the Shoppers Drug Mart have a Shoppers Drug Mart icon. All the IDA pharmacies have an IDA logo, and all of the Metro pharmacies have a Metro icon. So for some reason, I'm not sure, this setting works better on iOS than Android. I'm not sure about that, but if you look around, you can see there are a lot of pharmacies in Toronto and in Ontario. It's very packed. And if you go up north, you can see other pharmacies as well. The plus indicates a hospital pharmacy, Metro, IDA. You're able to find all of them. And the green is a Sobeys, I believe. Yes. And you can see the dispensing fee and all the other information. And you can click this button here to geolocate to where you are. The other setting that I want to show is the qualifying education. So with qualifying education, you're able to find pharmacists who received their degree from that country and are now registered with OCP. So they are an international pharmacist, but they came here and became registered to practice within the province of Ontario by the Ontario College of Pharmacists. So, for example, these are pharmacists from United Kingdom, and you can see where pharmacists who had their degree from United Kingdom practice. So this is similar to the language setting, but different because pharmacists can receive their degree from another country, for example, UK, but they might not speak that language used in the country. So, for example, if you were talking about Mandarin, people who receive their degree from China but don't necessarily speak Mandarin, they would be better captured by this setting rather than the languages setting. So once again, you're able to see pharmacists as a percentage of the pharmacists that work there, of their FTEs that work all over Ontario. So this app is very useful for you to find this information. And the last setting that I want to show you is FSA FTEs. So this setting is different in that it doesn't show you pharmacy density, but rather all the FSA FTEs that are employed there. So for example, if you're interested about geographical region, then this setting shows you the community FTEs. So what's the total FTEs? So pharmacist FTEs, one for full time and 0.5 or less for part time, and the total sum of all of that in a certain area. So community, for example, Shoppers, Rexall, hospital, for example, Toronto General, Mount Sinai, and other FTEs, for example, University of Toronto, doing teaching, which would not be classified as either community or hospital. So you're able to see that in that area, what is the most predominant basically type of pharmacists that work there. So for example, in this postal code here in 1M1R, this is how many people, this is the landmass, and they're all mostly in community FTEs, but there is a little bit in other. And then if you zoom out and if you go to a different area, then you can see that there are a lot of community FTEs and no hospital or other. And over here, there's community FTEs and no other FTEs. So the hospital FTEs that I'm showing here are for pharmacists that work in hospital. So it's not necessarily capturing doctors, but rather hospital pharmacist FTEs. So this was my demo, and thank you for watching.